I once wielded the power of a king, but now I carry the weight of my sins. When the world knew me as a lion, I operated in shadows so dark that even the sun trembled. In the ashes of Fairhollow, I would discover that not all lions hunt for glory. Years had passed since I had cast aside my titles, my banners, seeking solace in the quiet embrace of the Riverlands. But peace is fickle, and war came riding on crimson banners, banners that bore the lion's sigil yet carried the stench of betrayal. The village of Fairhollow, nestled beneath the red-leafed trees of the Trident, was once a sanctuary. But on that fateful dusk, smoke rose from thatched roofs, twisting into the evening sky like the souls of the departed. The air was thick with the smell of burning wood, mingled with the cries of anguished villagers as they scattered in fear. Riders had come, but these were no knights of Casterly Rock. They were cutthroats, deserters, false sons of a house I once claimed as my own. "Help us, stranger, please, they're taking everything." A villager's desperate plea pierced the chaos, drawing my attention. I turned to see the eyes of the innocent, wide, filled with terror, pleading for salvation. In that moment, I was not Jaime Lannister, but a stranger burdened by memories of battles won and lost. For a moment, I stood there, the weight of oaths long broken pressing down like a heavy shroud. Could I, the infamous Kingslayer, raise my sword for these humble souls? The laughter of the foe knights echoed through the village, mocking their helplessness. I had watched kingdoms rise and fall, men become monsters, and still I had done nothing. Was it cowardice? Was it penance? Or merely the heavy silence of a heart too weary to fight? This hand, once a symbol of glory, now hid my legacy beneath its leather confines, a reminder of promises unkept. But in that moment, I remembered the honor that had once flowed in my veins. The sword, Oathkeeper, was a gift forged in the fires of loyalty, a reminder of my past life tied to the Stark name. As I unwrapped it from my satchel, the blade gleamed in the firelight, a beacon of hope amidst despair. This is what's left. With quiet resolve, I stepped into the village square, armorless but unyielding. As the impostors returned, drunken with power and greed, they seemed to find humor in my stance, their jeers mingling with the sounds of crackling flames. "What's this? A one-handed fool? The Kingslayer fighting for peasants? Where's your pride gone?" But the glint in my eye betrayed the truth. I smiled, not with arrogance, but with the fierce determination of a man who has faced his demons. This is my pride now. The duel began, a dance of steel and fury, a ballet of violent grace. Steel screamed against steel, and the bitter taste of blood filled the air. Each strike was a testament to the countless battles I had survived, each parry a reminder of my sharpened purpose. In the throes of combat, I saw their confusion, their disbelief that a man with one hand could still command such skill. My strength may have waned with the years, but my skill remained. I moved with the precision of a predator, each blow a cathartic release of the pain I had endured. But as I cut down the impostors one by one, I remembered the faces of those I had failed to protect. The villagers watching in awe, eyes wide with fear, but also a glimmer of hope. I had fought for warlords, for kings, but now I fought for something greater than myself. At last, only their leader remained, a brute of a man draped in stolen Lannister gold who dared to call himself Sir Jaime the Red. He sneered, confident in his false authority, as we faced off beneath the dying tree, its branches whispering secrets of the past. "You think you can win against me, old man?" His voice dripped with condescension, but I felt the fire of purpose ignite within me. I was not the broken Kingslayer of old. I was the true lion, ready to reclaim my name. And there, beneath the dying tree, it was not just my life on the line, but a redemption I could seize. Our blades met with a force that shook the air, each clash reverberating with the echoes of my past choices. I could feel the weight of my sins pushing down, but with each swing of Oathkeeper, I fought to cast off the burden. With one final roar, the charade came to an end. The leader fell, his laughter silenced as his body crumpled to the ground. The villagers, who had once been so fearful, now stood awestruck, witnesses to the truth behind the lion's roar. As I collapsed to one knee, bloodied, wounded but victorious, the weight of my actions settled over me like a shroud. I felt the energy of the villagers surrounding me, their faces a mix of reverence and fear. I told them not to speak my name, to forget the legend I had crafted, only to remember that not all lions hunt for glory. Some fight for hope. In the aftermath, as dawn broke over Fairhollow, the echoes of my battle faded into the morning light. I could hear the distant call of birds returning to their nests, a reminder that life continues even after the fiercest of storms. But it wasn't the throne that haunted me. It was the realization that sometimes redemption lies not in power, but in the simple hearts of the innocent. The villagers gathered around, their faces illuminated in the breaking dawn, gratitude etched into every expression. I felt a sense of clarity wash over me in the quiet moments following the chaos. I had reclaimed a part of myself that I thought lost forever. The roar I had fought for wasn't for glory or honor, it was for a new legacy forged in bravery and sacrifice. And as I stood among them, I knew that I had made my choice. The weight of my past would always linger, but in the shadow of death, I had found life. It was a new dawn, not just for me, but for Fairhollow and the people who called it home. If this tale haunted you as much as it haunted me, subscribe for the next chapter in the life of those who wandered the aftermath of war. Together, we can explore the echoes of the past that shape our future. In a world filled with shadows, let us seek out the light, for even a lion can find redemption in the most unexpected places. In the days that followed, life in Fairhollow began to mend. The villagers, once broken by fear, slowly pieced their lives back together. They worked together, clearing the charred remains of their homes, rebuilding the thatched roofs that had once sheltered them. I could see the resilience in their eyes, a determination that inspired me to stay, if only for a fleeting moment longer. I wandered the village, my golden hand still hidden beneath that worn leather glove. Children played amidst the rubble, laughter cutting through the remnants of despair like sunlight piercing dark clouds. As I watched them, a sense of warmth blossomed within me. I realized that this was what I had long been missing, a connection to something pure, something untainted by the politics of thrones and crowns. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, I found myself at the edge of the river. The gentle sound of water lapping against the shore soothing my tumultuous thoughts. I had always been a man of action, a warrior forged in the fires of combat, but now I sought peace in the stillness of nature. The whispers of the river reminded me of the oaths I had once made, not just as a knight, but as a man who had loved fiercely and lost tragically. Yet the past has a way of clinging to you, like the stench of burnt wood. As much as I wanted to embrace my newfound purpose, I could not shake the memories of those I had failed. The ghosts of my past loomed ever present, a reminder that redemption is not easily won. The blood of the innocent stained my hands, and the weight of those lost would forever be a part of me. But perhaps redemption was not about erasing those sins. Perhaps it was about acknowledging them, confronting the choices that had led me down a dark path, and choosing to fight again, not just with a sword, but also with compassion and humility. As I stood by the river, I felt the pull of the village behind me. They needed someone to guide them through this rebuilding process. I could offer them my strength, my knowledge of warfare, and perhaps in return find my own healing. Days turned into weeks, and I became a part of Fairhollow. I taught the villagers how to defend themselves, how to wield a sword, how to stand tall against tyranny. In return, they taught me the value of community and the strength found in unity. Together, we forged a bond, one that transcended bloodlines and titles. One night, during a gathering around the fire, a young boy approached me, his wide eyes filled with admiration. "Are you a knight, Sir Jaime?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I hesitated, the title feeling heavy on my tongue. I was once a knight, lad, but now I am just a man who fights for what is right. The boy's face lit up, and I felt a surge of warmth in my chest. The villagers began to see me not as the infamous Kingslayer, but as a protector, a guardian who chose to defend those who could not defend themselves. With each passing day, I felt the burden of my past start to lift, replaced by a sense of purpose I had long thought lost. Yet even as I found my place among them, whispers of unrest began to circulate through the riverlands. The false knights had not simply vanished into the night, they were regrouping, muttering of revenge, and my actions in Fairhollow had not gone unnoticed. The banners of House Lannister had been tainted, but the twisted remnants of my past still sought to claim their power. One evening, while training the villagers, a scout arrived from the south, breathless and panicked. "They're coming. The remnants of those who claimed our name. They ride for Fairhollow." Panic washed over the villagers, the fear palpable in the air. I understood their dread. The cycle of violence had haunted me for most of my life. It would have been easier to abandon my newfound home, to slip away into the shadows of the Riverlands once more. But I had made my choice. "Gather everyone," I said, my voice steady, bolstered by the memories of our shared victories. "We will stand together. This is our home, and we will defend it." By nightfall, we fortified the village, barricading the homes and sharpening makeshift weapons. The villagers who had once known only fear now stood resolute, faces set with determination. They were no longer just the victims. They were warriors in their own right, ready to defend what was theirs. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in twilight, I felt a surge of hope. I was no longer alone. I had allies bound by a shared purpose and a fierce will to protect their home. The night grew quiet, an eerie calm before the storm. I stood at the edge of the village, watching the silhouettes of riders approaching in the distance, their crimson banners fluttering ominously in the wind. The air was thick with tension. "Would you do the same?" I thought as I gripped Oathkeeper tightly. "What would you do if it was your child?" I pondered the weight of my choices, knowing full well that the outcome of this battle was uncertain. And then the moment arrived. I could hear the roar of hooves thundering against the earth, the cries of the impostors, drunk with a desire for retribution. They would not spare us. They had come to reclaim the name of Lannister, to snuff out the flicker of hope we had ignited. As the first rider crossed the threshold into Fairhollow, I stepped forward, Oathkeeper raised high, ready to defend my new family. The villagers stood behind me, unyielding and brave, a testament to the strength that had blossomed in this small corner of the Riverlands. The battle began, a clash of wills that echoed through the woods. The steel met steel, and the world descended into chaos. I fought not for glory, but for those who stood beside me. Each swing of my sword was a promise, a vow to protect the innocent, to ensure that the cycle of violence would not claim another village. In the heart of the chaos, I remembered the fleeting moments of peace. With villagers laughing, children playing, and life finding a way to flourish despite the scars of war. It was these memories that fueled my determination, that filled me with an unyielding resolve. But as the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, a sudden realization struck me. Redemption is not a single act. It is a journey, a continual choice to stand firm, to fight for the light amidst overwhelming darkness. And as I stood there, the weight of my past still clinging to my shoulders, I found solace in the knowledge that I was not alone. Together, we would face whatever came next. If you found something in my journey that resonates with you, if you seek tales of strength and redemption, then I invite you to subscribe. Join me as we continue to explore the echoes of our past. To forge new stories in the fires of hope, in the shadows of history, let us seek out the light, for every heart can find a reason to keep fighting, just like the lion who roars for freedom and justice.